This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks dominated the Chicago Bulls in their second playoff game, defeating them 101-69. And yes, they destroyed them. There's no two ways to look at it. They destroyed the Chicago Bulls. The Knicks defense was just too tough. The Bulls could barely get into any kind of their sets with the way the Knicks defense was playing. Josh, what's going on with you, man?
Salute, Sam. Totally agree with you. It looked like a varsity versus a JV scrimmage out there. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I kind of predicted that. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but again, I didn't see anybody from Chicago Summer League roster that was on that team last season. And the Knicks are returning at least 3 guys that were a part of the rotation last season. So I kind of expected some sort of huge outcome like this.
Right, and not only the Summer League rotation, but Quentin Grimes was in the Knicks' regular rotation. Jericho Sims, he was in and out of the rotation of the regular team. Miles McBride, played some rotation minutes throughout the season. So these guys have some definite experience that the Chicago Bulls players probably didn't have, although they did have some guys who were a little bit older. The Knicks did as well, but number one, I think is the Knicks have more talent. Their Summer League team has more talent, and then they've got more experience as well. But we've seen some good things from our players. We really are. And I guess we'll start and begin with Quentin Grimes because that's where everybody wants to go.
Get it out the way.
Yeah, get it out the way, right? Everybody wants to go with Quentin Grimes and because of his output, scored another 24 points today. He's averaging 24 points per game over 2 games in the Summer League. The difference with today, though, is I think he shot much better. And he didn't need 21 shots to get 24 points. He was 7 for 14 from the field, 4 for 9 from the three-point line, 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for Quentin Grimes. And those are good numbers. You know what I mean? And I wasn't upset that he took 21 shots the other day. But I'd much rather see him score 24 points on 14 shots because that means the ball's getting around to other people, right? Other people are able to shoot the basketball. The ball's moving a little bit more. But sometimes the game goes that way, so I'm not upset about it. But I like for him to score with efficiency. You know what I mean? What do you think about Quentin Grimes' game today?
Well, Sam, before I chime in on what Grimes did today, I do think in the last game, I think Grimes was just trying to get some shots to fall. He started off really, really slow. So I think that was the reason why he took that many to get to 24 shots. I don't think that's something that's going to be a normal occurrence from Quentin Grimes during the regular season. But you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, today he was much more efficient. Shot, 50% from the field. Shot just under 46, 48%, something like that from 3. And he was 100% from the free throw line. So those are shooter numbers, and Quentin Grimes definitely delivered that today. Obviously, the defense was still there, still ball pressure from all the Knicks, not just Quentin Grimes, but the ball pressure was there. And this is the type of game you want to see from Quentin Grimes: efficiency, the ability to put the ball in the hole, not hesitant to shoot that basketball at all whatsoever. And he did make some plays, playmaking. So I think that was really good to see from Quentin Grimes.
Yeah, I think that's something that's kind of been overlooked because of his scoring. Is the playmaking, right? And I did see some people in the chat yesterday, talk about his 8 assists, but he had another 4 assists today. And when his trainer was on the show, and by the way, when Summer League is over, his trainer's going to come back on the show and talk about Quentin Grimes' output during Summer League and his growth and all that kind of stuff. But Grimes had another 4 assists today. A couple of nice passes to Jericho Sims. Right? What do you think about his playmaking?
Playmaking was really good. I mean, I don't necessarily look at assists to determine how good of a playmaker someone is. But I'm just watching how he plays during the flow of the basketball game, how he looks to get people open. When they run the floor, when they run the fast break, he's head up. Kind of plays like a point guard in a way. Kind of.
Look, I ain't even going there. I ain't even going there. He ain't. I ain't even jumping to that.
No, I mean, I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying Quentin Grimes is going to be a point guard. He's going to be. That's what he's going to be. But I'm talking about those intangibles. When you watch him play the basketball game, you see his head is always up. He's not just looking to shoot the basketball. Those 21 shots he had the last game, like I said, was him. Trying to get into the flow of things. But today he just, it was pretty evenly distributed. Taking a shot, knowing when to take a shot, knowing when to go off the dribble, and knowing when to find his teammates. Some passes went awry. That's going to happen during the course of the game. But he has those skills, those playmaking skills, and I think that's a really good thing to see.
Yeah, without a doubt, he does. And I'd like to continue to see that develop in the NBA, especially when he's playing on a squad and people want him to start, right? So let's say he does start. Now you're playing with Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle. You're going to need to do some playmaking out there every once in a while because you got other guys that can score the basketball. Right now, he's the primary scorer, and he's going to shoot the basketball. The fact that he is playmaking as well is a benefit for the Summer League squad. You know what I mean? So, good game from Quentin Grimes. I still believe that Evan Fournier is probably going to be the starter, and it has nothing to do with Quentin Grimes' ability. It really, to me, has all to do with the balance of the two squads that's out there on the floor. If he starts, cool. If Cam Reddish starts, cool. If Evan Fournier starts, cool. These guys' names keep slipping my mind every time I get ready to say them, so I keep pausing. Right, I'm trying to make sure I got their names right. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I just want the Knicks to play well.
Yeah. So listen, I stand by what the hell I said in the pregame show, and it wasn't a knock to Grimes at all. I like Quentin Grimes a lot. I really do. I like what he brings to the table. He's one of my favorite Knicks. But I just think at this point in time, right now, moving into next season, I think that Fournier is still better at that two position than Grimes, just because of the type of offense the Knicks run. And listen, Fournier, since January 1st, Fournier, no one in the NBA hit more threes than Evan Fournier. You know what I'm saying? No one hit more threes than Evan Fournier. Offensively, Evan Fournier was probably the most consistent thing, for this Knicks offense since the new year, right? So, again, I just think that fans need to be a little bit patient. Quentin Grimes isn't going anywhere, at least no time soon. Fournier might be closer to being gone than Quentin Grimes, right? So just be a little bit patient. Quentin Grimes' time will come. Tibbs likes him. He's not going anywhere. So I think fans need to be a little bit patient.
His time is coming. He's worked his way into Tom Thibodeau's circle of trust. Obviously, he's in Yoshimoto's circle of trust, the best player on the team right now. He's getting really, really good experience in heading the ship. And not only is he the best player on the team offensively, but defensively, he's leading the pack as well.
Right.
In the way that he hustles. And, you see him, like, he don't care about getting fouls. He really only had one foul today, one personal foul. But he's going after the basketball. He's putting pressure on the ball handler or whoever he's defending. It's not just him. All of the Knicks are doing that. Like, they're putting maximum pressure on these guys out there. And it's making it difficult for teams to get into sets. Well, two teams. It's making it difficult for them to get into sets, for them to think out there. And when you can't dribble and think, your game is done.
Yeah.
Right? Your game is done. I was in practice Friday. Not yesterday. Friday. And one of the drills that I did with my players, and I do it often, is we'll start off, I have them do some ball handling drills, just, going across the court. And I put fingers up, right? I put 2 fingers up. I put 7 fingers up. You guys can't see it. I put 7 fingers up. Right? And they've got to yell out how many fingers I got up, right? They got to add. They got to be able to keep their head up and watch. We'll do it that way, and then I'll do it with defense. And they got to do the same thing. With a defender in their face, they got to count how many fingers I have up and yell it out to me. And it gets more difficult as it goes on, right? To handle the basketball, to think at the same time. And it's because now they got pressure, not only defensive pressure, but they got the pressure of trying to figure out what I'm doing at the same time that they're receiving defensive pressure, and they end up losing the basketball, right? And that's okay because they're in practice, but they lose the basketball here, they knock it off their foot, knock it off their leg, et cetera, because it's hard to handle the pressure. And it's hard to think when you got defensive pressure on you and you got to figure out what else is going out there on the floor. Same thing. When you got that defensive pressure on you, man, it's difficult to think about what's happening. And one of the things, you're thinking about two things. Let me not turn the ball over and let me get it out of my hands. You know what I'm saying? So that I don't turn it over. It just stifles everything. And the Knicks defense is playing that style. I just hope that it can roll over into the regular season.
Big club.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if we can play that kind of defense where you're just in ball handler's face, it makes the job of Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle and even RJ Barrett that much easier. Because when your primary ball handler is having this guy just up in you all the time, it gets frustrating. You get the ball, they got to get the ball out of their hand. Now the offense must be initiated in another way. You know what I'm saying? And it makes the job easier on those guys back there defensively. You know, and then, of course, it starts to run that shot clock, right? Seconds are ticking off the shot clock.
Sam, listen, everyone in the chat clowning me for some reason, saying I'm bugging, I'm going crazy. I don't know why.
Bugging about what?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know why I'm bugging. Listen, I like Quentin Grimes. I do. I like Quentin Grimes a lot. I think eventually he will be the starter. Eventually that's going to happen. I'm just telling everybody to be a little bit patient with that. Defense was not our problem that last season. It just wasn't. Look at the numbers. Opponent's field goal percentage, opponent's three-point field goal percentage, points per game. Like, that was not our problem. Our problem was offense. Offense. And I think Evan Fournier, for the type of offense that the Knicks run, is the best fit right there at that two-guard position as of right now. Even worst-case scenario, I think Grimes can do everything that Fournier can do. But like Sim was saying, it's all about balance. Like, it's all about balance. If you know you need a defensive stop out of a timeout, you put in Grimes on the floor. You're not going to put Fournier out there, right? So I think people are so caught up in who starts and who doesn't start and not looking at everything in totality and nuance. You know what I'm saying? So I like Quentin Grimes a lot. I really do. He's one of my favorite players on the team. But I just think fans need to be a little bit patient and look at things in a little bit more nuanced form instead of on its head.
Yeah, that's not, just like the New York Knicks are a team, the Knicks fan base, we're our own team, and, patience isn't one of our strong suits. We're still developing there, you know what I mean? We're still developing that skill. I don't know, it might be a while before we get to that skill. I dig everything that you're saying, though, about Quentin Grimes, and it's not about Grimes. He's a good basketball player, and eventually one day he may be the starter of the New York Knicks at the shooting guard spot. 24 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds today from Quentin Grimes. Miles McBride, the second leading scorer on the team, 14 points, 6 assists. He shot 75% from the field. He was 6 for 8. He shot 50% from the three-point line. I don't know if the defensive pressure was as much as it was versus the Phoenix Suns. I think he feel like he did a better job getting free from, the defensive pressure. But I don't think it was the same kind of pressure, that he received from the Phoenix Suns. But
you mean the Warriors?
The Warriors, yeah. I don't know why I said Phoenix Suns. The Golden State Warriors, right? I don't think he received the same kind of pressure. But a good game from Miles McBride, 14.6 assists, did a good job, leading the team out there, leading the charge, managing the game, those kind of things. I don't know anything that you want to say about Miles McBride.
Yeah, listen, so he continued on the stuff that from last game. A lot of the stuff that he was doing in the last game. The confidence is there, obviously, running the offense, still applying that ball pressure defensively, getting in passing lanes. I kind of disagree with what you and Andy were talking about earlier in regards to Miles McBride. And I'm not sure if it was you, but maybe Andy. I heard Andy say this about McBride not being long enough. McBride is he has a really, really long wingspan. So I think that helps him become a really good defender as well. And he has really good defensive instincts. And that continued from the last game into this one. And, this was not the best competition to kind of evaluate, but it's really good to see that consistency there now. And, he's, performing, playing like a leader out there on the floor, stuff that we all been kind of dying to see. So I like it.
Yeah, he's got a long wingspan, and it helps him defensively right? Any player with a long wingspan, it definitely helps you because, especially from the guard spot, guards are going to be fast in the NBA. That's just the bottom line. They're going to be able to blow past you. But if you're able to give them space, but still have the arm length to be able to reach out and have that stick hand out there, you know what I mean? That's a benefit to you.
Right.
That's a benefit because, the closer you are, the easier it is for a defender to be able to go past you, right? But when you can give them some space, but your arm length is still in long enough so that you can touch them, that's great. And that's one thing that Miles McBride has. He's got long arms, and that's definitely a benefit to him. You seen him catch that dunk today. That's partly due to those long arms, and it took me by surprise. I was like, oh, okay, I like that. You know what I mean? It's partly due to those long arms that he has. But Miles McBride is playing well. Again, 14 points, 6 assists, 3 steals, only 1 turnover for Miles McBride. He played 24 minutes. For the most part, he was manning that point guard spot for the Knicks this evening. Right, so good game from Miles McBride. Now let's talk about Jericho Sims. There's a lot to like about Jericho Sims, man.
Yeah.
This guy. 11 points, 10 rebounds for Jericho Sims. But, man, we are seeing his game expand. Like, expand by the second when he's out there on the floor. I mean, we've seen in the first game, he went off the dribble one time. Like the first game, the first play of the game that he had the ball, he went off the dribble. Today, you've seen him go off the dribble several times. Right? Go off the dribble to the middle of the lane, spin, and score. You seen him take the ball, boom, 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 try to Euro step around a player. I think he got fouled and went to the line, right? Euro step and go up. I mean, we are seeing the ability of this young man. He's not afraid to advance the ball up the floor.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a really, really good thing. Because when you get into trouble, we've been talking a lot about defensive pressure. And when you get into trouble and your guards can't get the ball, to have a big man that can advance the ball up the floor is a benefit to your basketball team. You know what I'm saying? And then he has a big enough body where he can pick it up. You've seen him today. Come to a jump stop, advance the ball up the floor, come to a jump stop, pick it up, and be able to hand it off to a player while he's setting a screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's showing a lot of growth, like Walter White just said, showing growth. Yeah, he's showing a whole lot of growth, man. You got to love it. Talk to me about it.
Listen, Jericho Sims is my guy. I wanted the Knicks to draft him, albeit it was like kind of earlier in the second round that I wanted them to draft him, but I'm glad we got him nonetheless. He fell all the way to 58. And the Knicks just gave him that Mitchell Robinson contract. I think me and Sim were talking about it. He got the same contract that Mitchell Robinson got as a second-round pick, for 3 years at like less than $2 million. I think on average, his salary is going to be like $1.5 million or something like that for the 3 years. And he's like, again, he is way ahead of where Mitchell Robinson was at this certain point in time. Way ahead. No questions about that.
But Mitchell Robinson was younger at the time that he came into the league.
Right.
So
exactly. And again, this is not a knock on Mitch because of the coaching and the lack thereof for Mitchell Robinson. So I'm not knocking Mitch. But at this very moment in time, Jericho Sims is a better player than what Mitchell Robinson was at his second year in the NBA. Let's just call it what it is, right? And you see that growth. What Sim just mentioned it, putting the ball on the floor, getting to the lane, doing some moves, to get himself to, off the dribble or what have you. Like, I think that's really, really important. It's something that I've been hoping that a center can give to us, to be in that front court, someone that's not older like a Taj Gibson. But even that ability is something that the Knicks didn't have last season, the ability to put a center to put the ball on the floor. So I'm really liking what I'm saying from Jericho Sims. I know I've said previously that I wanted him to get off rebounds to keep the ball higher so he can go back up. But I think what he does is he kind of takes the rebound, brings it back down, and then dribbles to get positioning again, kind of similar to what like Shaq and those big body centers do, and then put the ball up from there and then get to the free throw line.
Yeah.
So I really like what I'm saying from Jericho Sims. And like I said, y'all, don't be sleeping on Jericho Sims thinking that he's going to be situational. I think there could be a time during the course of the season via injury or some other reason that Jericho Sims is going to see a lot of minutes on the floor. And I'm happy about that. And it's a good problem for the Knicks to have.
Yeah, it is. The Knicks, got some strength at the center position now with the 3 centers that they do have. I think when he grabs those rebounds, I still don't think it's a great thing when he grabs those rebounds inside to put the ball on the floor, right? Because
me neither. Yeah.
In the NBA, teams are going to be waiting for that to happen. Players are going to be waiting for that to happen, and those little guards are going to come down and swipe at the basketball. I love to see him just keep the ball up high, go back up, bang. You know what I mean? Or kick it out if he's going to kick it out. But I want him to keep the ball up high. Learning. It's all about learning. They told a little bit of a story about him, about him being recruited, right? His whoever it was, a trainer, whoever it was, just found him somewhere in some gym playing AAU basketball and went to his parents and was like, hey, if you let us train this guy, he'll be in the NBA in a couple of years. He'll be playing pro ball. And they let him train him, and then here he is, just signed a $6 million contract with the New York Knicks. Fred Katz did a little bit of a breakdown on Jericho Sims' contract, and I guess the reason why he did a breakdown on the contract is because it's a little bit different. In year 1, he makes $1.6 million. In year 2, he makes $1.9 million, and in year 3, he makes $2.1 million. Now we know year 3 is a team option. Okay, he breaks it down a little bit more. He says year 1, for some reason, is a mere $2,000 more than the minimum. Okay. I guess that's just the way that they negotiated it. We'll see. The first year is guaranteed. The second year is partially guaranteed for $600K. So it's not fully guaranteed that second year. And then the third year has a team option and is partially guaranteed for an extremely specific, he says, $651,180. I guess it is kind of a funny contract. You know what I mean? A little bit different, but, so he's guaranteed to make a little bit over $2 million. $2.6 million is what he's guaranteed to make with this contract. Well, $2.2 million, I guess, is what he's guaranteed. And then in the third season, if they pick him up for $600K, well, he'll make 1.9, but he'll definitely get 600. If they pick up the second season, then he'll make 3.5 or whatever it is, and then we'll see what happens with the third season. But I mean, he's definitely going to make at least $2.2 million or something like that, and then he has the chance to make $6 million over the life of the contract. After that third year, we'll see if the Knicks extend this contract and make it more. You know what I mean? I guess they'll figure all that out in a couple of years. They got some time. But that's Jericho Sims' contract right now. I got my man State in the building. State, what's poppin' with you, bro? I'm sure he heard us talking about Evan Fournier and Quentin Grimes, so that's why he had to jump in here. What's going on, State?
Fix your face, State. Fix your face, man. Come on, man. It's Sunday.
Focus. No, I'm focused. I'm looking at Quentin Grimes and Jericho Sims right now. Now I'm focused. I'm very happy with the Knicks, what I've seen today, specifically from Jericho Sims and Quentin Grimes. But to even dig deeper, I'm happy with Dice, our assistant coach. You can see the culture is on the floor right now. That's evident because everybody's playing hard. It's hands everywhere. It's great ball movement. And I think the most underrated thing that Sims does when he's off ball, watch his movement and how many screens he sets when he's off ball. He creates so much movement, just setting screens, moving to the other side of the basket, and that's an elite skill. Mitchell Robinson didn't come into the NBA with that skill, but Sims been in college longer than Mitchell Robinson. Mitch didn't even play college basketball. So, yeah, like Sims is way far ahead of Mitch in his development right now. And that's a testament to Walt Perrin, too, man. Shout out to Walt Perrin. We don't give that man much kudos, man. This guy has been making great draft selections where he's being asked to select that. You know, at 25, you get Grimes. 25, you get Quickly. You got Obi, but the Sims pick at 58 is really elite. And Sims did a move, I believe y'all spoke about it already, where he got the ball at the top of the key, and he looked like Julius Randle a little bit.
Hey, they've been working together.
You could tell. Oh, that move, I'm like, oh, and it was refined. Like he actually had control of the ball, so you could tell Sims been working on his game.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that from Sims.
And you know, not to cut you off, but what I really appreciate about that, and I ain't not trying to diss Mitchell Robinson and nothing like that, but we're seeing it with Sims and things that he's worked on. I've never felt like I've seen that kind of growth from Mitchell Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Like I know during the season, during the season, we did see him go off the dribble a couple of times out of desperation.
So I got a question for the both of y'all.
Yeah.
Particularly Sim, OG Sim. Do you think, because you're a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's because the organization is asking him not to do that when it's just strictly diving to the rim and just rim running? Or is it because he just can't do it?
I think
because Mitchell Robinson, like, put the ball on the floor. I've seen Mitchell Robinson do the exact same things that Sims is doing during Summer League. I've seen Mitchell Robinson bring up the ball for the Knicks, but it's so rare that we've never seen it. So do you think it's like organization? Like if you had a player like Mitch and you see that he's shooting 50% under the 50% under from the free throw line, would you tell him to not shoot? Would you tell him to not try it?
No, I don't think the organization is telling them that at all. I think it's totally on Mitch, to be honest with you, right? Because doing it in practice, you know, in an empty gym where it's just you and the trainer is one thing. Actually doing it against competition is a whole nother beast. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Mitchell Robinson, I don't feel like he's confident in those aspects of his game to do it out there on the floor in a game. See, what I want to see Mitchell Robinson do, though, we never see him scrimmaging against NBA talent in the summer, right? We see these videos of him with his friends and this and that, but we never see him playing with NBA talent. I want to see Mitchell Robinson get out there with NBA talent. I know last offseason he was hurt and he couldn't, but I want to see him get out there and ball with NBA talent and do some of those things, because that's where you get to see, is he confident enough to do some of those things against NBA talent, right? Without it being in the game. Because if he's just playing pickup ball with NBA talent and he does some of those things, then now you think, oh, okay, maybe he's not afraid to do it. But you don't see it. And I feel like with Mitchell Robinson, one of the reasons why maybe we haven't seen the same kind of development is because during the off seasons, I never felt like he was working with legitimate trainers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And maybe it's one of the reasons why the Knicks sent some people to work with Mitch this offseason. I never felt like he was working with legit trainers. Always seemed like he was working with, maybe just some around the way guys that he knew. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. But I'm hoping that this summer he's actually putting in that kind of work. The Knicks sent some people there to work with him. And he's going to come back and, just show some things that he's been working on.
He better. Shit. I already done stated Brunson, the Mr. $100 million point guard, is going to make Mitchell Robinson an all-star next season.
Word up. He better be working on it. He better be. But yeah, I love what I'm seeing from Jericho Sims, though. And what the Knicks have at the center spot between Mitch, Hartenstein, and Jericho Sims, they got that. That's a strength of theirs, without a doubt. It's a strength. And all of them are under 24 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All of them are under 24 years old. So that's pretty good, right there. That's really good. Really good. I don't know anything else about Jericho Sims and what we've been seeing from his development. I haven't seen him shoot it. Shoot a mid-range jump shot. There was one opportunity I thought today that he had to maybe shoot a fadeaway, and I thought he was going to shoot a fadeaway, but he passed it out. I think it was in the second half, and he spun off of his player, and he had a chance to shoot a little fadeaway, but he passed it out. But I want to see him shoot a mid-range shot, a couple of mid-range shots, and see, just see what it looks like.
I think that confidence will eventually come. I think we have to remember that Jericho Sims did go 1 for 6 today from the free throw line, so that's a little bit of a asterisk or whatever you want to call it. So he does need to improve on that just a little bit. But I think with the confidence that we've seen from game to game and from last season coming into this season, I mean, you have to be a little bit optimistic about that ability and that potential.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I want to move on to Jaquan Jeffries, right? Daquan Jeffries had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. He's 5 for 7 from the field. He shot 50% from the free throw line. I really, really like what I see from this guy. And, if I'm the Knicks, I'm seriously considering giving him a 2-way contract. And they only got 2 of them that they can give out. All right? Farron Hunt, he has 1 of them. And from what we've seen so far, only 5 points today for Farron Hunt, but what we've seen from him so far, it looks like he might be one that keeps his contract. Trevor Keels, he signed his contract, okay, and the Knicks did post it on Twitter, right, that he signed, but it doesn't mean that, dang, Josh, you and Keels look alike too.
What?
You and Keels look alike, bro. Listen, I have a picture of him on the screen right now, and I see your face right now. You guys look alike. I think you guys look like you could be related. Serious business. Serious business.
Wow.
You might look more alike than Lou Dort. I don't know.
Oh, Tim got jokes. Okay.
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
okay.
Listen, the chat is seeing what I'm seeing. So, chat, y'all let me know. Do they look alike or not?
You do, bro.
Oh, but Trevor Keels, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line. I'm not gonna say he played terribly today. Just missed shots. Right, just missed shots, but Daquan Jeffries has been playing well in making his shots.
Oh yeah.
And although Trevor Keels is signed, he's gonna have to step in and do something because this guy Daquan Jeffries he's looking for a spot on the squad. I think. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on this kid?
Go ahead, Steve.
Tough, hard nosed. The Jeffries kid and the Hunt kid, those 2 dudes is keepers. I love both of them. The Jeffries kid, though, he's really outplaying Keels. And I think I got to take into account Keels is still only 18 years old.
Yeah.
But this is a business, and this is a dog-eat-dog world. And if I'm the Knicks, I might be looking at Jeffries, man. He had a drive to the lane today where I said, man, he's a keeper. Defensively, I love him. I love the fact that he's a talker. I love the fact that all of these guys are talkers. You could see the cohesion on the unit. And I was listening to the broadcast, and the broadcast guys were saying, like, you could tell the Knicks players been with each other for a while. Mm-hmm. And you could tell, like, the Bulls players is just a unit that was thrown together. Right. Because you could see guys collectively talking, like, each play. And Jeffries and it was Jeffries, McBride, and Grimes, really the guys that was galvanizing the troops, telling everybody to come in. So I like that from Jeffries, man. If we didn't take Keels and we could take Jeffries, I'll do that. But either way, I think both of those guys, if they don't make it to the big club, both of them should be on our G League team for sure.
Yeah.
Especially Hunt. I love Hunt more than Jeffries. Yeah. I might love him more. Well, he's been like eye opener for me.
Yeah, but Hunt's already has a 2-way contract. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think other teams can't just snatch in and take him, right? Because they already got a two-way contract. The thing is, with Daquan Jeffries is either Jeffries or Keels. If the Knicks decide to take either one of those, or make Daquan Jeffries a two-way player, then Keels, he might be on the Westchester Knicks team, but any team can then sign him. Same thing with Daquan Jeffries, right? Now the thing with Jeffries is he's like 24 years old, right? Do you cut a Daquan Jeffries? I'm sorry, Keels, for a 24-year-old. Keels 18 years old. 18. He won't turn 19 until August. When you're talking about a player, like, neither one of those guys are going to be on your squad, your main squad, right? Daquan Jeffries, while I like him, he's got 6 years on Trevor Keels.
Damn.
6 years on Trevor Keels. With Trevor Keels, he's 18 years old. He's got some time to grow and develop. Do you say, you know what? We're talking about a guy that's not even going to be on our team. Why would we deal with Daquan Jeffries? He's probably not going to get on the team anyway. We might as well develop Trevor Keels. And even though, and I was just thinking about that not too long ago before I got on. So even though I do like Daquan Jeffries, I think I would continue to rock with Trevor Keels because I got 6 years to try to help this guy develop. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, bringing in Daquan Jeffries, who's 24 years old.
Well, Sam, one of the first things you said to start the podcast was Knicks fans need to work on having patience. And I don't think, saying that you're going to wait 6 years for a player, or not 6 years, but wait at all for a player that's 18 years old to do whatever is something that Knicks fans want to hear. But I do understand where you're coming from in that regard. And it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision. But listen, Jeffries, he's hungry.
He's hungry.
That kid is hungry. He's hungry. And I read something on Twitter today that if Cam Reddish was as hungry as what we think from Jeffries today, what kind of team will the Knicks actually have? If Cam Reddish shows that type of hunger on the basketball floor, because we already know the talent is there. So yeah, it's a tough decision no matter what. But I guess we'll figure out what happens. We'll see.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're talking about Keels, you're not talking about it's not the kind of patience where, he's sitting on the end of the bench. It's the kind of patience where he's away, right? He's not really with the team. He's away. He's playing in the G League, and you're watching him grow. Just like, back in the day before there was really the G League, and players, you would draft an international player, and they'd be overseas, and you forget all about them. The next thing you know, the Knicks are bringing them over, or whatever team, right? San Antonio Spurs. They're bringing them over, and you're like, oh, snap, where'd this guy come from? I feel like with Keels, it could be something like that, where he's just sitting there, he's playing. But now we'd have eyes on him. We'd be watching him, because he's playing in the G League. I think I would rather do that than, just bringing a guy that's 24 years old and is probably not going to play. You know what I mean? I'd rather just use that two-way to develop a player and truly use that G League team and those two-way contracts as a farm system. You know what I mean? Big Freezy, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm excited, as usual, after a Knicks win. Always excited after a Knicks win, man.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you think about the growth of some of our guys out there that you see?
Let me first say, man, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate the opportunity being here with the Nothing But Knicks family, man. I always enjoy his flight being home.
Yeah, no doubt. We appreciate you, man. Yeah. We appreciate you.
And secondly, I'm super excited to watch. I saw different offensive sets ran the past couple of games. Like I saw the Spanish pick and roll. They attempted to run that some, right? They ran Tibbs' favorite play today at the beginning of the game, whatever we call it. They ran some of that at the beginning, whatever that weave is at the top of the key. I don't know what they call it, but they ran some of that today. I'm excited for the kids. I'm excited to see Quentin Grimes stepping into his own, like staying, like being comfortable in his own skin, like showing progress of the player that he can be at the NBA level. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about young guys actually hungry to be New York Knicks and not just NBA players. These cats that were playing today in Summer League looked like they were hungry to be Knicks and not just hungry to be in the NBA, which is something different too. Man, so I'm excited, man. I saw a few things. I'm staying even keel in the middle of the road because I do understand this Summer League, and we played against a terrible Summer League team, so I'm not jumping out of the window. But I am excited for a lot of the things that I saw. I think we're making progress as an organization. Innovations on offense, innovations on defense. The young kids buying in. The energy on defense was up. So I was excited to see in Summer League, the energy was up defensively. I was excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, and kudos to Dice Yoshimoto, man. The way that he's got the guys thinking. You can tell. Well, first of all, Miles McBride, Quentin Grimes, Jericho Sims, even Farron Hunt, right? They've played in the NBA with the New York Knicks. Farron Hunt less, but the other guys played some real good minutes for the Knicks. So they know what's expected. You know what I mean? And it's always good to have guys like that who they know what's expected. Now they can let the other guys know, the new guys know, hey, this is what this organization expects.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't come with, and you don't play with a certain type of intensity, certain type of energy, you can forget it. You can forget it because it's not only those guys that we named that's been on the team. Amir Sims been on the team. Let's see who else been on the team. Walker's been on the team. Right. So these guys understand exactly what's expected of them. And this is how you build a farm system. This is how you grow and develop players. You know what I'm saying? And let's say and not only when you talk about how they grow and develop players, but you talk about you look at guys like Walker and Amir Sims, and they may be with the Knicks G League squad next year. They may be with the Summer League next year or whatever, right? And they know the system. One day they may be plug-and-play players where when you need a guy to step in, you can say, you know what, let's call this guy up to play. And when you have a system that's actually growing and guys feel like they're developing, instead of saying, well, you know what, let me go try this team over here or that team over there because I may get a different chance with this team, they say, you know what, I'm developing here. I'm getting better and I'm growing as a player. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to stay here. So now your Westchester team has good talent on it. Your Summer League team has good talent on it. And it's not about those teams winning. It's about now when you draft a player and you have them play on your Summer League team or your in your G League team, they're playing with the best talent. So now this young guy that you drafted is getting even better. You know what I mean? And that's what you want. That's how you build that kind of system. And I think the Knicks are doing a really, really good job at doing it. I don't know if it's Leon Rose or I don't know if it started back with them other guys that were here. Because if you remember, back with them other guys, they were like, oh, we got this great developmental system that we don't think anybody else is doing. Maybe we're seeing the fruits of that labor.
With Michelle Obama's brother and everything.
Started.
Yeah.
No, I firmly believe, I've said this to Uncle Freezy, shouts to Freezy, said this to all of y'all separately. Culture is made by the basketball players. Culture is not made by the management and those guys. Made by who you bring in the building.
Partly,
and I believe that
partly. When
you draft, but when you draft RJ Barrett, That's when you culture. When you bring in Julius Randle, even though he acted like a sissy last season, that's what we set in the culture. When you sign Tom Thibodeau, that helps bring it along. RJ Barrett is giving everybody that same message that comes through that door. Mitchell Robinson, he been here 5 years. He's giving the same message that comes through that door. So I think it's mainly the players. I'll give you an example. The Phoenix Suns, they never had a winning culture. Guess who came over there? Chris Paul. Oh, now they got a winning culture. So I think it's the players.
But see, I think culture and winning don't always go hand in hand. You can have a good culture and not win. You can have a culture where you work hard and not win because you don't have the talent or you don't have the right mix of players, right? So culture, to me, doesn't always mean you're going to win just because you have a good culture, right? You can have a good culture where everybody works hard, everybody plays hard, everyone's serious about the game, but you don't have enough talent, or maybe the mix of players isn't good. You know what I'm saying? You can have a bad culture and win basketball games. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it only culture. You've got to have good culture. You want to have good culture. More likely than not, a good culture is going to be conducive to winning. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit and say that the Phoenix Suns had a bad culture, and then when Chris Paul came, it turned into a good culture, because they could have had a good culture over there. They just weren't winning basketball games, and he was the missing piece. You understand what I'm saying?
But I understand what you're saying, and you're not wrong. But at the same time, those stories that was coming out about management, about their owner, and not some stories that I'm going to bring up right now on this channel, but I'm pretty sure Josh and Uncle Freezy do their homework. Those specific stories, those was coming out while they was losing. When Chris Paul got there, you didn't hear none of those Robert Sarver down stories.
But
because
you know
they
what?
started.
Right, but that doesn't mean that those things ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Like winning mean, when you win basketball games, sometimes those stories don't come out. Or if they do come out, they get a little bit more quiet. Doesn't mean that things aren't happening just because you're winning, just because it's not out there doesn't mean that those things aren't happening. They could still be happening. You know what I mean? And I'm not discounting you, about a good culture. You want to have a good culture. Winning or losing, you want to have a good culture, right? Because the Miami Heat, they've always seemed to have a pretty good culture. Even during times when they weren't winning basketball games, they still had a good culture and a work ethic. You know what I'm saying? That led you to believe that, you know what? They're going to come back and win because they got a good culture there.
Pat Riley.
Yeah.
He ain't a player.
and I do believe that culture, that players help to set the culture, but your management too, they've got to be able to, if you're not holding players to the same standard, eventually your culture will corrode. That's one of the reasons why people are concerned about Julius Randle and Tom Thibodeau in their relationship. Because if you're not holding players to the same standard, eventually your culture will corrode. So I think management plays a part in setting a good culture, but yeah, you got to have the players to come in. You got to have the players that can come in to say, I believe in what the management's culture is. I believe in what the coaches, I believe in all of this. So I'm going to stand by it, and I'm going to help my teammates to stand by it as well. And you got to have the type of teammates there that if somebody comes in and is doing opposite of your culture, it's going to say, nah, this is not what we do here. So, I mean, I think it's both. I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you. You got to have players that set that culture. You know what I mean? Because if not, you can have management trying all day long and the players just ain't buying into it. And I don't even believe in players buying into stuff. I believe you go get the players that represent what you want to represent. You don't go get a player and make them buy into what if I want this player to be a shooter, I don't want this player to have to buy into it. I want to go get a player that's naturally a shooter. If I need a player that's a leader, I don't need this player to buy into being a leader. I need a player that's naturally a leader. Because as soon as it goes wrong, the player that has to buy in my opinion, as soon as it goes wrong, they go back to what they said. Well, if this was working, I'm going back to this. So when I'm a coach or a manager or whatever, I'm going to get players that already believe what I believe. Because I don't want them to have to buy into it. I want them to believe what I believe. You know what I mean?
Randall.
To me, that's going to work easier and better. You know what I mean? What about Randall? What are you saying? What about Randall? How do you know what he believes?
Nah, the whole time you just said that story, I just thought of Julius Randle. That's all I was.
Oh, so you thought that he believes the same thing as Tom Thibodeau?
No, I thought he didn't buy.
Huh?
I felt like he didn't buy in. If he would have bought in, we would have won more games. That's
bought in the season prior, right?
Right.
but I don't want to do this right now because we having a good day. Y'all know how I feel about that fake basketball season. I'm good on. I don't want to do this right now. I'm good on.
I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know what if he was asked to buy into anything or not.
I think he was. You
asked to buy into what?
If you got Tibbs as the coach, and you're paying this man $117 million, he has to buy into something. Whatever the coach is trying to preach, he has to buy in.
State, hold on, State. We overdo this a lot. I'm sorry, son. I just had a. So first of all, Sim, you mind if I talk to young fella?
Yeah, talk to
you
him.
Mind if I talk to him? So first of all, young fella, the Phoenix Suns had a great run as a Western Conference team from about 1983 to when Steve Nash left the Phoenix Suns. You're talking about a run of 20 plus seasons of Larry Nance, Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley, Jeff Hornacek, Charles Barkley, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Stephon Marbury. So their culture is not a bad culture. They hit hard times, and it happens. No team stays on top forever. Look at the Lakers. Even the Lakers had to replenish after a while. Even the Celtics had to replenish after a while, and the Phoenix Suns went through that. So I don't want to throw because the Phoenix Suns win the lottery. I don't want to throw them into this Sacramento Kings type situation because they're not. Right? It's the same thing with your Dallas Mavericks and your Utah Jazz. They have been historically good over the course of decades. They hit hard times. They bounce back. So I don't want to disrespect their culture because these franchises before ownership changes were highly run organizations, unlike the organization that we're familiar with. Right. Secondly, the Julius Randle thing. Julius Randle was a decent player thrown onto a very poor roster. And our expectation for the best player on our roster is to become something that they're always not intended to be. Right? Because the year before we got Julius Randle, our power forward was a dude named Noah Vonleh. Right? The point guard before Julius Randle season was a dude named Emmanuel Mudiay. Right? He started in the backcourt with Mario Hezonja and Damian Dotson. Right? And then we signed Randle, and all of a sudden we expect Randle to take a team that was the worst team in the league. Remember, even though we picked third, we had the worst record, and we earned that record, right? And then Julius Randle comes in, and now we expect him to rise this team from the ashes and be great from day one. It's not fair to the teams calling the shots, nor was it fair to Randle. And I know what people are going to say, that Randle gave people the thumbs down and sensitive New Yorkers' feelings got hurt and all this stuff. But listen, what I'm saying is this. You can't turn around a bad team in a stretch of 2 to 3 seasons and think we can win the finals, right? Julius Randle is a decent player. He's a decent player, but let's not pretend that Julius Randle was anything other than Julius Randle. Julius Randle's contract extension, that 117 that you mentioned, the base salary for his first year player compensation is $23 million, 23.5. What NBA superstar in today's NBA, the best player on a good team is making $23.5 million as base salary?
Zero.
Nobody. Damian Lillard just signed a contract for 2 years extension 2 years, $122 million. This dude's gonna make $61 million per season.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
Right?
That's
crazy.
That's a
right?
crazy contract. And you know, and,
Right. So just say I just wanted to listen. I'm not knocking your opinion because we all as Knicks fans have different experiences and expectations depending on how long we've been a Knicks fan, how many games we go to. Like say for instance, did the Pat Ewing era Knicks fans have a different perspective than me because I've been a Knicks fan since the Clyde Frazier era. Clyde Frazier, Earl of Pearl, and those guys, right? I've been through 6 or 7 young cores. So when people say young core to me, it don't mean nothing because I already been through the Mike Woodson, Bill Cartwright, Michael Ray Richardson young core. I already been through the Darrell Walker, Trent Tucker, Rory Sparrow young core. I've been through the Pat Ewing, Mark Jackson, Rod Strickland young core. I've been through the Hubert Davis, Greg Anthony, and such young core. I've been through the Nate Robinson, David Lee, such and such young core. And now people are saying this young core right here. That's what I'm saying. Just be easy, man, and allow this front office to do the best that they can do with the resources they have available to them.
yeah.
Look at Freezy being all optimistic. Freezy, that's what I'm talking about.
We'll get better. We'll get better in time, but we can't microwave it, bro. It's like when you see the 7th grade point guard playing on the 7th and 8th graders. You see him, but the varsity team need a point guard. You're not gonna grab the 7th grader point guard and try to start him on varsity. It's a process. You got to let him cook and get better. And one day he will be the varsity point guard, just not today.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to go too far off the rails, you know, from summer league, you know what I mean? But I like what you're saying there, and you know, as far as you know, Randall buying in or whatever, you know, we just don't know how much, you know, what Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff asked him to do. You know what I mean? And, you know, we got another season coming up. We're going to see what this season looks like and how everyone plays and what the chemistry looks like this season. Now, I will say this. You know what I mean? The one thing that I really do like with the team is, you know, this is, and we're young, right? But this is the longest in a very long time. This is the longest that we've had players together. Right. And let's hope that it continues to build our chemistry or help our chemistry to build, you know, and that we're building on top of chemistry and building more chemistry on top of chemistry. You know what I mean? RJ Barrett and Julius Randle are going on their, 4th year together? Mitchell Robinson as well. You know what I mean? 4th year with that group. You know, now you're bringing in Jalen Brunson. You're going to have Emmanuel Quickly. Obi Toppin, who's been here for 3 years now, going into this season is going to be 3 years. Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims. This is their 2nd year with the team. So you're having a team together that's been with each other for a little while. And you're seeing it from Summer League to the Westchester Knicks to the New York Knicks, where, you know, guys being together is building some camaraderie, some chemistry, you know, and hopefully it's going to, you know, the fruit is going to bear.
Culture.
Amen, brother.
So, I put out a tweet earlier. I'm getting killed for it, but I don't care.
Yeah, a tweet where you say, you know, old heads, this and that. I seen it. I chose not to say nothing. I was like, I'm gonna step in the background, say especially the old heads. I was like, I'm gonna step in the background. I ain't gonna say nothing. Too much Knicks Twitter beef going on anyway. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Not that tweet, man. Nah, you good, man. I respect the old heads, though. Now I put out a tweet earlier. This is just me because I'm trying to be optimistic and positive. So I put out a tweet and I said, if the starting 5 was Brunson, Reddish, RJ, Randall, Mitch, and I specifically wrote, and I did it on purpose, I wrote, I got 54 wins. That's what I wrote. And look, Josh, like, I wrote 54 wins because I knew the 54 was going to get engagement. And I said, how many wins do you have? I put under 40, above 45, above 50 wins. I got going to the Eastern Conference Finals. After what you see, after what you guys have seen these past couple of years, from the infrastructure, from the young guys from Randall, from Mitch, all the individual players that we got. Y'all don't think it's possible that we could go in the next season and win 50-plus games if Tibbs, the coach, doesn't be an idiot and trot out ridiculous lineups?
Hold on, I'll answer that because, and I think that's where the message kind of gets construed because, again, the starting lineup, like a starting lineup is a starting lineup. It's a starting lineup. You know what I'm saying? It is. It is a starting lineup. And you have all the pieces have to fit well together. You can't just put all these players on the floor together because at their position they're the best that we have, right? You know, quote unquote, the best that we have, and expect it to all work. Like I think the fit has to matter as well. And in that lineup that you put out there, where's the shooting going to come from? Like where?
So can I rebuttal that? RJ shot 34% from three. Reddish shot 36% from three. Randall, so we both going. I'm gonna try to love Randall next season. You think Randall gonna shoot 31% from three next season with Jalen Brunson as his point guard? So we don't think Jalen Brunson is gonna improve everybody else's percentages because now we got good point guard play. Now, will Randall buy in? It's all. I mean, listen, man. I'm trying to be optimistic here. I'm not trying to get into no Twitter beefs, no Twitter wars. But at the same time, I think that lineup with Reddish specifically, I think it helps out everybody. That's just me. And I think we got shooters.
Those numbers you mentioned weren't good numbers. That wasn't good.
But not everybody gonna shoot 40% from three, bro. Evan Fournier shot a high volume of threes last season, and he was shooting bricks the first 3 months.
What was his percentage? What was his percentage?
Who? Evan Fournier?
From three, yeah.
38%. Only two more than.
So you want to take him out, right? Who he was the number one in the NBA. He done made the most 3-pointers since January 1st. You want to take him out and add in Cam Reddish.
He only started making threes when we was 10 games under 500 and the pressure wasn't on him. He didn't make no threes at the start of last season. Let's stop that madness. Hey, he cannot play no defense at all.
At the start, of last season, he wasn't making threes. But you know, after about January, he was knocking them out. You got to admit that he was knocking them out. You know what I mean? But to answer your question, I don't have the Knicks winning 50 basketball games. You know, I mean, things would have to go really, really well. But I think they can win 45 basketball games. You know what I'm saying? I don't have them winning 50, and that's okay with me, right? Because I'm not looking for the Knicks to go from worst to first. I'm not looking for that. You know what I mean? I'm looking at a slow progression of them getting better, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? The year that RJ got drafted, the Knicks had 17 wins. The year after that, 21 wins. Mm-hmm. The next year, they win 41 games. You know what I'm saying? They go down to 37. Now, if we can go back up to 45, and you go down to 37, but you can look at, we've been over it. You can look at things that happened throughout the season and say, you know what, if this happened, that happened, maybe they could have had a winning record. And a lot of teams can maybe do that. But I think the Knicks can get 45 wins, and I'm okay with that. And then the next season, chemistry grows. They get better. Players like RJ, Grimes, Reddish, Obi, quickly, they all get better, right? Maybe the Knicks make a move to bring in some other players, and then they get to 50 wins, right? That's the kind of growth that I'm looking at the team, and I think if they can grow that way, now obviously if a star comes available that can expedite it, you do it. If not, then you continue your growth, you know what I'm saying, and hope that growth is sustainable, you know what I'm saying, across the team because they got players that's been here for a while, understand the system, knows what each other is doing, and they're growing.
Sam, you mind if I jump in and say something right here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So what I would say to State's request is instead of having two extremes, instead of saying stick to the rebuild and play the kids, and then say how many wins are we going to get? How about we do one? How about if we're going down that road of getting more minutes for the young guys, how about we not have an expectation and let them grow organically, right? and then it basically let them cook. And then when we get to a point, then we start seasoning to taste, as opposed to overdoing it with season at the very beginning and ruining the meal before the thing is actually cooked.
Yeah.
And then get upset when we don't win 54.
And then blame tips. How about and just one other thing too. You can't complain about Evan Fournier's defense when his defensive rating was 112.9, and then say take Fournier out of the starting lineup when RJ Barrett's defensive rating was 112.9, the exact same thing, and not mention removing RJ Barrett from the starting lineup. Right. And I understand what you're saying, but if this is solely numbers based, if we have numbers based arguments with stats, then we have to look at all the stats and not just the convenient ones.
No
right?
doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
And secondly, the starting lineup that you mentioned, and this is not just a state, I'm just speaking in general, but I'm speaking to a statement that State made, right? And when you look at a starting lineup, you can't just go by 5 guys like what John said without mentioning a system, right? It's like if anybody remembers New York Giants football from the 80s and 90s, when they were a run built team, and when they got down by 10, 14 points, they couldn't catch up because they couldn't pass, because the tight ends they had were blocking tight ends. Mm-hmm. The receivers they had were short yardage, intermediate tight end type, receiver type guys. So it depends on the personnel that you put on the floor. Also depends on the systems that you run, right? So if you run a system that caters to that lineup that you just mentioned, more offset Spanish pick and roll from the wing area, right? More Obi and Randall playing, if they play together, run more Spanish pick and roll where Obi can cut to the basket and Julius can do his more natural thing as being a popper with a pick and roll point guard like Jalen Brunson, who's in the top 90 percentile the last 2 years as a pick and roll efficiency point guard. Then now when you mention those lineups, man, I'm with you, right? But if you run, but if this team goes back to wanting to run what was more comfortable for them, then whatever lineup you throw out there, bro, we're going to kind of gravitate back towards the same Emmanuel Quickly chucking up contested threes, Obi Toppin not knowing what offensive plays to run and not being in the right spots and such. And these small details and things that mess up the continuity of an offense, right? And so it's easy just to say, hey, throw such and such players out there, start Grimes, play such and such. Exactly. You have to look at the continuity of it. And the coaches have to be able to trust that personnel that he puts on the floor to run those systems so that those rotations that they ran through, that he talked about and walked through and all that stuff is effective. It's the reason why you saw sometimes we were not as effective, because the young guys are going to make mistakes and they have to play through them, right? But knowing young guys have to play through mistakes, you have to understand that lofty win total that you also are looking at is not going to be attainable. So what I'm saying in general is how about just let these young guys go out there and play and learn and get better as pros, and then eventually when we're ready, when the meal is done, when they're fully cooked, then we can put expectations on what these guys can do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. I agree with you. But I have an expectation that the Knicks are at least going to have a 500 or better record next season. I ain't go out, not me personally, but, they didn't go out and spend $104 million on Jalen Brunson to be below 500. I expect them to at least be above 500. And if they're 500 or above, I expect them to at least be there. If that means still, though, that they don't make the play-in because the East is so deep, I get it. I'm not upset about that. But I think they got to at least be 500, man. They got to be 500 basketball. But listen, the squad is seasoning. They got players that's growing together. You're seeing it right now in Summer League with the way that the Summer League is rolling out with guys who've been on the Summer League team for a while, been in Westchester for a while. Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims played with the big boys. Farron Hunt played with the big boys. You know what I mean? And then you're seeing Quickly and Obi and Randall and Reddish at, they're supporting their teammates. So I believe that the chemistry is building and the Knicks are on the right path. It's the reason why the Knicks blew out the Chicago Bulls 101-69 and maybe have a chance of winning. Some people don't care about it, but maybe have a chance of winning the Summer League championship. You know what I mean? I just want to bring it back around the Summer League because we got a whole lot of time to talk about what's going to go on during the regular season. The Knicks beat the Bulls. For anyone who's just joining us and doesn't know, they beat the Bulls 101-69. The Knicks out-rebounded them 42-30. 21 assists for the Knicks, 14 assists for the Chicago Bulls. 11 steals for the Knicks, and so far that's been a hallmark of their Summer League output, steals. You know what I mean? Because the amount of pressure that they're putting on the ball, putting a lot of pressure on the ball. You know what I mean? And we hope that it rolls over into the regular season. 4 blocks for the Knicks, 2 for the Bulls, 14 turnovers for the Knicks, 21 for the Chicago Bulls. And the Knicks are creating those turnovers. It's not like the Bulls are just throwing the ball all over the place, or these teams are throwing the ball all over the place. The Knicks are actually creating these turnovers. All right, the Knicks 51.4% from the field, 37% from the field for the Bulls. The Knicks shot 32.3% from the three-point line, 23% for the Bulls. The Knicks and the Bulls both shot 65.4% from the free throw line. Points in the paint, the Knicks 42, the Bulls 26. Second chance points, the Knicks 13, the Bulls 7. And the Knicks had 15 fast break points and 3 fast break points for the Bulls. And I reiterate again, those fast break points, the Knicks are they're initiating those fast break points. You know what I'm saying? They're forcing turnovers and then getting out on the break. You know what I mean? And, that's the kind of fast break points that you want. You want to see the team creating those fast breaks, creating those turnovers. You know what I mean? So, I love what I'm seeing from them defensively, and I'm hoping that it continues. They play tomorrow night. Who do they play tomorrow night? Portland, that's right. They play Portland tomorrow night.
Late game, 10 p.m.
Yeah, 11 p.m., I believe. I think it's at 11. Late game, you know what I mean? I'm expecting more of the same. What are your expectations, Josh, of the New York Knicks versus the Portland Trail Blazers tomorrow night?
Yeah, I definitely expect some of the same. The score won't be the same, obviously. I don't think it'll be that big of a blowout as it was today. But I do expect the Knicks to carry over some of those skills and some of those intangibles that we've been seeing from the first 2 games. Obviously, Portland's not going to have their draft pick, Shaedon Sharpe. We all know what happened to him. Mm-hmm. And as far as this, I think it was his shoulder or something that put him out for the rest of the summer league and maybe some preseason games. But Portland is a young team. They got some draft picks from previous years that they're going to try out there on the floor. So I'm expecting the Knicks to come out and show some of that same fight, defensive pressure in the basketball, forcing some of those turnovers. And I want to see Sims get 15 and 15. That's my goal for him.
Yeah, like you said before we even started, he would have had 15 and 15 easy today if it wasn't for the Knicks blowing him out. And right now, the New York Knicks are 2-0, and they are on top of the entire Summer League standings at 2-0. The Magic are 2-0. The Pistons are 2-0. The Raptors, some of these teams are still playing today. The Raptors, the Clippers, the Miami Heat, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Timberwolves, the Utah Jazz, the Milwaukee Bucks are all 1-0. And then you got the Wizards, the Trailblazers, the Kings, the Pacers, the Nets, the Suns, the Rockets, and the Bulls, who are 1-1. Then the Mavericks, the Thunder, the Hawks, the Nuggets, the Spurs, the Celtics, the Hornets, the Warriors, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Lakers, and the 76ers have not won a basketball game yet. And so the 2 teams that the Knicks play next, the Portland Trailblazers are 1-1, and then the Orlando Magic, they're also 2-0. All right, so we will see how this plays out. Maybe we'll get a chance to see the Knicks fighting for a Summer League championship. I mean, they got the whole championship trophy, rings, and everything. They're doing it up with Summer League, man.
I'll take it.
They're doing it up. I'll take it, too.
Yeah, I take it.
I'll take it, too. Shoot. They're doing it up with Summer League, man. They even raised the prices of those Summer League tickets. It's like, sheesh, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? It used to be like $25 to get in. And you see every game that's there. Now it's like $55 and $300 and something for an entire package or something like that. But hoping to be there next year. I would really like to be there next year. But State, man, the Knicks play the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow night. What do you want to see from them? What else do you want to see from them?
Expectations, Grimes, give me another 20 points. Continue to do your thing. I don't care about his efficiency. Get the shots up. Continue to put the ball on the floor. I seen a couple drives today by Quentin Grimes where I was like, okay, I see development from you now. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see. Because I compared you to Danny. I compared them to what's this guy name, man?
Danny
Green. I compared him to Green. But he has a chance to be Michael Finley now.
Okay.
So I'm liking what I'm saying for Quentin Grimes. So keep dominating. He's supposed to dominate. And also Jericho Sims, let me get another 10 rebounds, right? These guys should not be on the floor with Jericho Sims. He's too athletic, too big, too strong. So continue to do that. And also, I want to see another blowout. I think it's good energy, right? The way we ended off last season with the kids playing well, quickly triple-double, OB42. I think we should go. I think I'll take stock into us going undefeated in Summer League because it means that our young guys is playing well, and it means the infrastructure is coming along very nicely. I want to see Dice continue to implement those new sets. I seen a couple today. Shout outs to Uncle Freezy. I seen a lot of offensive sets today. The usual weave, but I seen even more Spain pick and rolls, side pick and rolls, pin downs. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the offense. Yeah, so continue to be consistent, continue to be aggressive. I hope Grimes don't care about his efficiency. I want him to be impressive because the one low-key thing about Grimes, and before I get out of here, is if he plays impressive during summer and he's killing it, right? Mind you, we still got Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish. MSG politics is undefeated. And Leon Rose traded a first for Cam Reddish. So I'm hoping that Quentin Grimes' play can push Evan Fournier further down the totem pole. Because I would like to see Quentin Grimes play real minutes next season, like out of the gate, not because of injury or any unforeseen circumstance. So just continue to do what they do. Blow Portland out though. They got to beat them by 20 plus. They got to beat them by 20 plus.
All right. Big Freezy.
Hey man, my expectation for tomorrow's night's game is for the Knicks to blow the doors off Portland, and here's why. It's not because I want to be disrespectful to the Portland Trailblazers fan base or their team because they have fans and they want to win just like us, right? But as somebody watching the systems that we're implementing, the new offensive systems and sets offensively, and what we're doing defensively for a Summer League team that's down to one guard? They have one guard on the roster, one ball handler. I'm expecting us to bring the same energy and to get up on them early. But at the same time, when you're dealing with young people, you don't always get the level of consistency that you want. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, be careful of these young guys maybe coming out flat, so to speak. I hope that doesn't happen. But for those that have ever coached young people, sometimes when young people get a taste of success, they don't always bring the same intensity. Sometimes they get in that mode where they feel like they could just throw their jersey on the floor and they can win, right? So what my expectation is Knicks come out, jump on them early, let this team fold into itself, and then, you know what I'm saying, we keep the energy on them, go up big, and cruise to the end like we did against the Bulls. Hopefully that's what happens. When I looked at the Portland Trailblazers Summer League roster, the only guard that I saw that's a ball handler is Brandon Williams, and I'm not even for sure who that is. I didn't see another guy that I didn't see another player that presented, at least just by looking at the thing, you know, that could be a ball handler. So look for us to pressure them early and get them out of here. get them out of here early.
Yeah. No doubt about it, man. Tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks will take on the Portland Trail Blazers, all right, in Game 3 of the Summer League. And then the Knicks have, a day off, a day or two off, and they'll take on the Orlando Magic. And the Knicks are putting themselves in a chance to, be playing for the Summer League championship. You know what I mean? If they can put together another win, then, they're right there. They're right there with a chance to win that summer or play for the Summer League championship. So I will catch you guys tomorrow night. I'm trying to think. Let me see. The Knicks play at 11. So I'll probably do the pregame show. I'll probably still do it early, about 3:30. You know what I mean? So look for the notification. Maybe it'll be a little bit later, 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Look for that notification, ladies and gentlemen. And even though it's a late game, I'll be on doing a postgame show after the Knicks play. All right, so make sure you join us. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. And we're going to head up out of here. Be peaceful. Spread love as usual. Up out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Nick.